Okay, everybody, welcome back to yet another Nova Scribes. Gráinne, it is great to have you on. What have you got for us tonight?
Good evening. It's great to see all your faces. So, who here has heard about Bani, Bani? It's the new and modern version of VUCA. Yeah, Christina, you've heard a little bit about it? Yeah, so I was talking with a futurist friend the other day, and she said, yes, this is a totally Bani environment. And I was like, what is that? So Bani is brittle, anxious, nonlinear, and incomprehensible. That sounds like 2025 to me. 2025 has hit all of those aspects: brittle, anxious, nonlinear, and incomprehensible. And I've had a lot of ups and downs as well. And when Brian and I were talking during the government shutdown when I was furloughed, Brian said, "Hey, what do you think about presenting at a NOVA Scribes?" And I said, "Sign me up." And when Brian asked, "What do you want to present on?" I said, "Well, we've been talking, I've been ensconced in this modality called regenerating images and memory for about 2.5 years, and it's really helped me get more fused with what my logical linear brain is thinking and what my body, the nonverbal figurative side of my body, is feeling." And so this RIM modality, it's a whole brain approach that helps us integrate and work through things that we might have trouble articulating. So I created this event to really dive into and identifying, figuring out what is in your way. Who here is anyone? I'm checking to see if anyone here who I know has experienced a RIM or a group RIM session before. Yeah, Casey. Can you share what that's like for those who haven't?
No, I think for me, it was just giving time to reflect on the situation I was in, having a chance to just really, and kind of in a group session, kind of not necessarily share where I was at, but just get a time to actually think about where I was at, what I was doing, and where I was aiming. I think that's what helped me out the most.
Yeah, thank you, Casey. Yeah, so in RIM, what we do is we use our emotional operating system and our imagination to help us get a clear understanding of what's actually going on that we're unable to articulate. Have any of you wanted to create a new habit or give up something and it's hard? Have you tried or struggled? And yeah, yeah. And so if it were logical, if we could just switch on the logical switch in our brain, we know why it's healthy to exercise. We know why it helps our muscles and our brains and our bodies. And if it were super easy to exercise, everyone would be exercising and we would be engaging in the logical brain all the time. There's something getting in the way of us doing things. And this is where RIM is going to help us out. So there's no right or wrong way to do RIM. So just in terms of rules, whatever you do, however you feel, whatever you sense into, you're doing perfect. And I'll help guide you through the process. And you might follow what I say, and you might not feel like following what I say. Your mind might wander, and that is perfectly fine. You also might start feeling really relaxed, and some people start to drift off to sleep. That's great too, because then your subconscious mind is processing, and maybe that's really what your body needed to slow down a lot, so that you can feel into what's getting in your way. So just relax and follow your senses. And so before I do RIM sessions, individual RIM sessions with clients, I often ask them, how do you dream? So what do you notice when you dream? Could you pop into the chat box when you dream? What's your dreams smell like or look like or feel like? Yeah, all right. So do you feel your teeth falling out, Brian, or do you see them or
It's
sense
just
them?
this weird, like drooly mess where it's like, I keep trying to like pull them in, but I don't have like that many fingers to hold. It's just weird recurring dream.
Yeah, okay. So there's a kind of visceral sense to
Yeah.
it.
Also,
Yeah.
like I'm showing up for a test that I like blew off the whole semester. That
Yeah.
one I have a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, that one's pretty common. Starling, when everything is fast, do you mean you see or you feel, or how does that show up?
It Things feel like they're like double speed. in my
Okay.
dreams.
Yeah, so some of that is sensing that things are super fast. Yeah.
Yes.
And Lori, when you're in the action movies or the family dramas in your dreams, are you seeing? Are you smelling? What senses are present?
100%, all of me is all there, all involved, doing whatever it is that's going on in the dream. So it's a full body, heart, mind, spirit experience.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, when I dream, I tend to see things and sense things, but when I am in my RIM sessions, I tend to physically, viscerally feel things. So this is going to be really fun to notice. Oh, and Elizabeth, yours are more vivid than life. Is that in terms of colors or how does that show up for you?
Honestly, everything. I mean, smelling, hearing, backstory. Uh, I've got some disabilities I usually don't have in dreams. Like, yeah.
Oh, cool. Interesting. Yeah, so I invite you to notice what you're noticing, play around with what you're noticing, and view this as a bit of an adventure of just fully tuning into your senses. So, a little bit more about the neuroscience behind RIM. In 2002, Dr. Daniel Kahneman won the Nobel Prize for economics. Is anyone familiar with Kahneman and his studies? Yeah. So, Lori, what's Kahneman famous for in terms of thinking? What does he call them? Uh-oh, you're on mute.
Can't think of it right now.
Yeah, so he talks about system one, quick thinking, and system two, slow thinking. And so the quick thinking is, do you think it's logical or do you think it's intuitive?
The
All
quick is
right, so
intuitive. It's fast. It's you don't have to
yeah,
think about it.
so our intuitive thinking is really fast, and our logical thinking, interestingly enough, is really slow. And so this is what we're going to be playing into. We're going to use our logical mind to kind of set the stage and then dip into our intuitive mind, which is going to move a lot faster, and it'll light up all of our senses. Um, Another rule of RIM is that we close our eyes. And part of the reason, or soften your gaze if you're not as comfortable closing your eyes. One of the reasons that we close our eyes is because when our eyes are open, our optic nerve is turned on, and that is connected to our logical linear brain. And so, if we want to get into the more intuitive side of our brain, closing our eyes is a really great way to dip into the intuitive and to tune out all the data that might be getting in our way and might be distracting us. And so that brings us to what we're working on today, or feeling into, because this isn't work, this is play. What is in your way? And so we're going to tune down the analytical part of our mind, almost like a knob on a radio, an old school radio. And maybe even we'll imagine a dial in front of you. And if you want to soften your gaze and close your eyes, imagine seeing a dial in front of you. And I'm going to close my eyes a lot during this as well. And I'll open my eyes to check on you from time to time because I'm doing this with you. So maybe you'll see an old school radio dial in front of you and you'll reach out to that dial in your brain, in your mind, in your body. And so tune it down. You might tune clockwise to tune it down. Maybe yours is counterclockwise. And so tune down the volume of your thinking mind. And so you'll notice your thinking mind start to slow down. And you'll notice and feel into what your body is doing right now. And so as you're sitting there, go ahead and get comfortable in your chair or however you're seated right now. And notice that when your eyelids closed, it was almost like you pulled down a shade to the external world. And so you might even notice the color or the texture of the shade of your eyelids that you've pulled down. And notice what that's like as you're tuning out the external world even more and tuning into your internal world. And notice how it feels under your sits bones or your feet where you're sitting right now. You might wiggle into more comfort. I'm going to do a breathing exercise to also bring us more into this virtual room, more into your body. So go ahead and put one hand on your chest and the other hand on your belly. And on your next inhale, fill up your chest nice and big from bottom to top. And then as you exhale, notice how that feels. Notice the movement of your hands. And do that twice more, noticing your chest expanding and your stomach and your ribs expanding and how they collapse and contract. And then on your next in-breath, expand your ribs to the side, to the left and to the right, taking up a lot of space. Imagine your breath is filling you up sideways. And notice what that's like, how that feels to feel yourself getting wider as you inhale and more narrow as you exhale. And you're beginning to feel really immersed in yourself. And you feel and you sense and know that you have a body and you have a mind. And as you're in your body, you might notice how your breathing is shallow or deep. Or maybe you'll notice the pace of your inhales and exhales. Do you pause between your inhales and exhales? Or is it a constant rhythm? And are you noticing thoughts coming in? And maybe you're aware of thoughts and feelings coming in. And your heart is pumping, and the pulse. And you might notice if you're feeling warm or cold, maybe different parts of your body. Like my body, some are cold and some are warm. And what's going inside and around your body without you having to do anything at all. You have all these things going on in your body because it knows what to do, and you don't have to tell yourself to breathe. You don't have to tell your heart to pump. It just knows what to do. And so just observe what's going on. And if you might hear any background noises or even my talking, just brings you deeper and deeper into this experience. Whatever your body wants and senses is welcome. You might even notice yawning. And so notice what it's like to simply observe your own body, knowing that you have nothing else to do but be in your body, sensing whatever it is that you're sensing. And your imagination brings a pair of virtual reality goggles just like that in front of you. Notice the color of them. Notice how big they are right there in front of you. And so go ahead in your imagination and reach out and touch these virtual reality goggles that are right there in front of you. And take them in your hands. And as you have them in your hands, you might notice the texture. Are they smooth or rough? Are they cold, warm? And so go ahead and put them on. Imagine putting them on. And for some of you, this might be the first time you've put on virtual reality goggles. And so as you put them on and you look out of these VR goggles, you're noticing that as you look through them, you're able to see what's actually going on inside your body. So these are giving you a window into your body, powered by your imagination. And what's that like? to be able to see what's going on inside your body. And so, as you're here, looking through these VR goggles that are made perfectly for you, these are your VR goggles, unlike anyone else's, you'll drop down deep into your body. And maybe you'll drop down into your core. Just notice where your attention is in these VR goggles. Maybe you're right behind your navel, right there in the middle, the core of your body. Whatever part of your body is calling your attention, just go ahead and notice it. And as you look through your VR goggles, your imagination starts to develop the energy, how the energy in your body looks. Wherever that is, it doesn't have to be logical at all. In fact, it probably isn't very logical. It might look like an image, this energy. It might have a texture or a color. Maybe you can smell the energy. Maybe you have this sense of taste of the energy in your mouth. Or you might just sense it, not seeing it. And that's perfectly great. You're doing this right. And so as your imagination continues to draw you to the part of your body that's calling your attention right now, you'll notice what its qualities are like. Whether that part of your body that's calling your attention has a shape that's calling your awareness. It might be a specific image that's popped in, or it might be an amorphous image, an amorphous blob. Whatever it is, just receive it as best as you can. Try not to judge it, letting go of any desire to edit it. And so go ahead and imagine yourself moving closer and closer to it, to this energy, the image of the energy. And it might be changing from moment to moment or not. And so as your imagination now is called forth and it kicks in, just accept whatever's showing up because that will take you deeper into this experience. And so now your imagination is giving form to what's calling your attention right now in your body. And go ahead and begin to notice what your imagination has brought. So these are the details of it, because that'll take you deeper. This is a multi-sensory experience, so you might have different senses lighting up, helping you make more form of this image of energy. And so invite your senses to be with you at this moment, knowing that your senses are bringing all this information to you from your nonverbal, from your intuitive mind. And so as you feel your attention being called deeper and deeper into this energy, into this image, go ahead and imagine moving into whatever's present in this energy for you right now. So let yourself imagine being inside the energy, moving into the energy. And notice where you land inside this image, inside this energy. Are you towards the front or the back of this energy, this image? Are you in the middle? What happens when you look up? What do you see above you? Or maybe you're more towards the top, and so there's a lot below you. Just notice. Notice what you're seeing and what you're feeling inside. And notice this experience of being in it, wherever you are. Maybe even you're on the edge of it. Maybe you're actually on top of it. And so let go of any desire to judge, just be where you are, knowing that your imagination is taking you to the perfect, perfect place. And so as you're here in this energy, there'll be an image that pops in that represents what's in your way right now just like that. And whatever this image is, allow it to formulate. It might get more clear. It might still continue to formulate and to morph and to change, because it's now another level of the image that's being refined now. And you're moving deeper and deeper into your psyche. And so remember to just allow whatever's showing up spontaneously, your spontaneous imagination, which is one of the greatest gifts we're given, this imagination and this creativity. We don't really understand how it works, but that doesn't matter, because all of this is about spontaneous imagination right now. And so as this image begins to very clearly let you know what it is that's in your way, lighting up all your different senses, whether you're hearing it or seeing it, you're sensing the image itself, or maybe you're perceiving it through your kinesthetic system. Maybe it's a visceral feeling. And still, it's becoming an image in your brain. And this image might just be a blob with certain qualities, might be a blob of energy, or it might be a very specific image that's formulating, even as I'm speaking. And as it formulates, as it becomes more clear to you, it begins to take a form that probably doesn't make sense to you, or it might. Maybe it's cartoonish. And whatever it is, just receive it as well as you can without editing, without judging it. And as you sense this new image of what's in your way, it might have even morphed or changed as I was talking. So go ahead and move closer to this image of what's in your way. You might notice you're beside it or in front of it. Or maybe you're looking up at it or down at it. Just get closer so you can observe the characteristics of it and get more details of this image. And just let your senses, invite your senses to share more information with you about this image of what's in your way. Letting go of any need to judge, because this is about welcoming and it's about allowing, because there's so much of us that's invisible that we just can't see or understand. And it's available to us if we just tune into it. And yet we need to invite it and pay attention to it. And so that's exactly what you're doing right now. You're paying attention to your emotional operating system and this image of what is in your way. So go ahead, as you're right there near this image of what's getting in your way, go ahead and move your awareness into it, moving into this image of what's in your way. And so notice whatever part of it you land in. And maybe you're taking up the whole space of this image. Or maybe you're just in part of what's in your way. And sense yourself becoming the image of what's holding you back and what's in your way. And so as you're in this image of what's in your way, as you're taking up the space of this image of what's in your way, go ahead and look back at yourself and notice what you look like as you're in this image of what's in your way. You see yourself. Notice what you're wearing. And take a look at your posture. What's your posture like? And so now, as the image of what's holding you back, as you're looking at yourself, look into your eyes. And as you look back from the image into your eyes, what do you see? What do you sense? And so now, as the image of what's in your way, go ahead and speak to yourself in your mind. As this image, what I represent for you very specifically right now, in this time, with a lot going on in December 2025, what I'm communicating to you that's for you in this moment is and as I am in this form that may or may not be morphing and changing, the metaphor for you that I represent is and how this specific metaphor is critical for you to receive, and how this metaphor is important for you to hold in your awareness right now, moving forward is. Because where you are right now, what I represent about your growth personally is and what it's like for me as this image to be able to express this directly to you is and what I want you to take with you and what I want you to keep remembering every day is and anything else that wants to be expressed by this image to you, go ahead and express it until it feels complete. Go ahead and raise your hand if you need more time, either physically or virtually. All right. And so how it feels as this energy and this image to share all of this with you is. And so now moving your awareness back into yourself, go ahead and move back from the image into yourself. And so as you have your awareness back in yourself, looking out of your eyes over at the image of what's in your way, sense receiving all that it's expressed to your human self, like a stream of colored energy going from it into you. Maybe it's going around you or through you in whatever way feels right. Whatever way it is, notice the color and the quality, and maybe the texture, and where this stream of colored energy is going, where it's flowing. Whatever form it's in, if some of the energy just doesn't feel right, go ahead and let it drop to the earth, and it'll just be cleaned out and recycled. And so notice what it's like to have received all of that. And so now looking back at the image of what's in your way, and it might have morphed a bit or not, go ahead and speak to the image of what's in your way. What I hear you saying to me, what I have received from you is, what I hear you saying to me, and how it feels to hear you saying that to me is, and how what you've shared with me informs me in relationship to where I am in this moment is. And what I want for you and our relationship is, and what I now know that I didn't know before this experience is, and anything else that wants to be spoken to this image, go ahead and speak it. And keep speaking it until it feels complete. And if you need more time, go ahead and raise your virtual hand or your actual hand. And so with your attention in yourself, look back over at this image, at this energy, and sense and notice how it looks. Does it look the same or is it different now? And if it's different, how is it different? Notice what you're feeling in your body now. And so now go ahead and move your awareness into your heart. And as you move into your heart, a feeling word pops in immediately. The first one, whatever it is, just receive it and feel that feeling word as fully as possible. And maybe it's not even a feeling word. That's fine. Knowing that your feelings morph and change from moment to moment, and that's what keeps life interesting. So just feel it everywhere it wants to be felt and experienced. And notice how feeling does not involve action. It's merely a receiving, an internal receiving. And as you feel it, you'll just notice the more you feel it, the more it starts to fade. It starts to go away and disappear because it's become part of you. It's been integrated and received. And so as that dissipates and disappears, move your attention to your heart again. And now a second feeling word pops in just like that of what you're feeling in your body right now. And just feel it, sense it fully, letting go of any desire to judge it. And then once you've really felt that, a new feeling word, a third and final feeling word pops into your mind from your body as to how you're feeling in this moment, just like that. And notice what it is and feel it as much as you can. And as you feel it, and as it's integrated, and as it dissipates, you'll notice your body. You'll notice the surface beneath you, the physical room around you, maybe even the virtual room that you're part of right now, with the people logged in here. And as you return into your body, and you bring your presence back in here, maybe moving your feet and up to your legs and your hips, your spine, up to your shoulders, down to the tips of your fingers wiggling, up to the crown of your head. Awareness comes onto your face and your eyes spontaneously open. Welcome back. And I'll give you a moment if you'd like to jot down any of the feelings or anything that you were noticing about what's in your way. And so now, with your eyes open or closed, let's do a round of sharing, whatever feels right. So who wants to start out and share what their experience was like? Maybe what was like that like to tune into your inner world? You don't even need to, if you don't want to, give details about what was in your way, but what was that like to be really present in your body? Yeah, AK.
Yeah,
Or I'm sorry. How do you say your
yeah,
name?
yeah, AK or Akshat, whatever is
Okay.
easier. Yeah, you said it
Welcome.
right. Thank you. Yeah, so yeah, it was an interesting experience. Couple of things. When I was breathing from the belly, it felt like I was working on the vertical axis, and then if I b- tried to breathe, trying to expand sideways, it felt more anxious, which is different. It felt because it's horizontal plane. Um, that's that I guess you can say is a physical plane. Um, and then I have tried VR headsets before, so when you told me to grab the VR headset, it was that Oculus 2 Quest 2. So I kind of knew what it felt like. But when I put it on, it was interesting. Initially, I thought of Attack on Titan kind of hands, because usually people first response is to look at your hands. And then it was Joy from Inside Out. Um, and if you actually notice, all the Inside Out characters, they have like fuzziness to them,
Hmm.
which is very fascinating feature of emotions, I guess. And then when I looked at, because somewhere in between you had asked to go inside, it reminded me of Osmosis Jones, the movie. So those are the things I was thinking of. But then after that, I kind of, yeah, I didn't have any like I pictured a black briefcase with like the letters JW and Co. I think it's a company that sells clothing. I could be wrong. But then after that, it was like um, pretty much like nothing special. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thanks for kicking us off, AK. Really cool. Yeah, so some of it was familiar to you and some was not as familiar. So thanks so much for that. Yeah, who else would like to share? Welcome back to video, Starling.
All right.
And Lori, Christina.
I think Lori's got her hand up.
Oh yeah, Lori, go. Yeah, don't put your hand up. Come off mic.
Just talk. Okay. I had a really fun journey. I when I dropped down into the energy level, it looked like, one of these spirals that was kind of going around. And I was looking at this spiral, and then you said something about walking towards it or walking into it, and I realized it was just huge. It was like vast. It was just, like it would spread from me to where you are, assuming you're in DC. Big. And I went, oh, that's a lot of big energy. And I thought, well, how am I going to walk onto that? And I noticed that in the middle of it, there was this little ball. So I kind of climbed up on this energy thing and walked my way into the center. Luckily, maybe I took giant steps. I don't know how I got to the center and was just hanging out in the center. And then when this, what's in your way came up, what came up was one of these big mirrors, like in Harry Potter when he looks in the mirror of, I forget what it is, but
Hmm.
you see yourself as you want to see yourself, not as how you are.
Ah,
And anybody who remembers the name of that mirror? It's the mirror of something or other. Um, and so I'm going, okay, well, obviously I've got some, I got some self-delusion going on. And what was interesting about that was that that what the mirror said to me is that I'm not actually seeing myself as 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 actually as big and glorious as I am.
yes.
I see myself, and you can see my cat's tail here.
Yeah,
Um,
pretty too.
uh, smaller than I am And and then the mirror told me, uh it started flashing all these different images of me. And the mirror said to me, you have all these guises, and sometimes they put you on.
Ooh.
You don't put them on, and they just grab you and you go. Um, and so my wish for you is that you recognize just how vast and amazing you are, and that you recognize when you put on your guises. And one of those guises is Lori's really small. That's
Oh,
actually a
wow.
guise. So anyway, so that was kind of cool, I thought. I mean,
Great.
actually thought it was really cool.
Yeah, thank
So
you for sharing. And
thank
Lori, it's
you.
interesting that you and AK had had that something
Movie?
came up about size with both you and
Oh,
AK. And what I love about the rib breathing is that women in particular, and men, this happens to men as well, but women in particular often don't focus on getting wider. And maybe with AK, that's also something that brought him anxiety, the getting wider. So it's pretty cool when we talk about how big are we or do we restrict ourselves? Thanks for sharing.
all right. Thanks, Brian, for the Mirror of Erised.
Apparently, you can buy them from Pottery Barn. So there you go.
Thanks, Christina. Yeah, so mine, I was on a racetrack. Well, I first felt it was like a gyroscope. And then I realized that it was one of those Hot Wheel racetracks. And it went back and forth between, those cars that you pull backwards and then they go because I could even hear that loudness. And so it went between both pulling it back and then just being on an electric track. And it was going fast and spinny, going in circles. And I realized I didn't need to go so fast. I could actually stop. And then when I stopped, I realized I could get off. So that was part of my journey of you don't need to be on this racetrack and spinning and going fast and feeling zippy and racy. Yeah. So, how might you use RIM or something like this in the future? What might be some application?
Oh, I did want to share really quickly. Is my
Yeah,
microphone?
certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So mine was the image, it was a bike, but it was a very uneven bike. Like it was weird because when I started imagining the bike, I was like, why am I imagining this in the first place? Actually, I like put up, let me see if I can show what I drew if I don't freeze. I think it was like, but like it's a really big bike,
Oh,
like it's in the
wow.
clouds, and then like this really small wheel. It's a very uneven bike. And the thing that it was telling me was like some unevenness, and it's okay to call that out if things are just different or uneven. I remember when we were doing the words, the first word that popped in my mind, that emotion, it was surprise. And I was like, okay, and then curious. So it was, yeah, that was a different experience. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. So, thanks for bringing up the words. So, did anyone notice a pattern in their words? Brian, you look like you're Mr. Oldtimey. You need a pipe. I initially thought that you had somehow found a pipe to put in your mouth.
That's my stylist, but close enough. Starling, interestingly, I had the sensation of also a bicycle, but I had one with like flat tires of trying to like move with flat tires, like what's holding you back, right? It's like, oh, it's like I'm just pushing more and more and more effort, but it seems like the harder that I push, the more I'm losing momentum.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I had
So how might
one.
we use this? He said, oh, I'm sorry, who was talking?
Oh, I didn't mean to cut anyone off. It's my bad.
Oh,
Go ahead,
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
Oh, I was just gonna say I had a very vivid, very detailed image of a dysfunctional office floor, like office building. So That was interesting.
I can't hear you very well. So a dysfunctional image of office what?
An
An
office
office
floor.
floor, like an
Yeah.
office building.
Oh,
But lots of
oh.
very obvious things that needed fixing. So that was interesting.
Ah, was the office floor familiar?
No,
Yeah. Oh, cool.
just kind of
So,
generic cubicles and whatnot.
yeah. So with RIM, it often takes a few days for us to integrate. So you might have some aha moments right now. Maybe after you sleep, you might notice some integration, and maybe even in the next few days or the next week or so, you might notice things coming up. You might notice new things or patterns or maybe some more clarity on what's in your way and how you might move what's in your way, might move around it or through it. So yeah, does anyone have any questions or anything else they'd like to share?
Yeah, I
Gráinne,
just
how have
wanted to.
you used this? Go ahead, AK.
Yeah, sure, thanks. Yeah, I just want to say, yeah, so waiting for the synchronicities to kick in, right? That's when you know you have your results. Yeah, thanks.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Brian?
I was wondering how you've used this in your practice.
Yeah, so as Brian said, I'm a coach and I'm also a facilitator. And I've used this with team coaching and facilitation a handful of times in the intelligence community, which I initially wasn't sure how it might transfer to the intelligence community. And sure enough, guess what? Everyone has an imagination. And this can help us figure out what might be getting in our way. So I've used it with executive teams and different leadership teams. And then personally, regenerating images and memory sessions can either be individual or at the team level, group level. And so the individual ones are dialogue-y, and so you often speak out loud, and the facilitator helps guide you down your path. So it's whatever your imagination is, wherever your imagination is taking you, the facilitator follows and helps deepen your experience. So it's client-led and facilitator supported, and going into the yuck, because the only way through is through. And so what I've loved about RIM individually is I didn't know about a lot of the things that were blocking me. I knew about a couple of them, and I have had heightened awareness about some things, some patterns, or different things that were sticking in me that I had over the years shoved down and pretended weren't there and forgot about. But my body didn't forget about them. My logical brain did. And so what's great about RIM is it's almost like with our emotions and things that are getting in our way. Yeah, exactly, Brian. There's a lot of now empirical data that's coming in on how the body keeps score. Um, but it's like we've pushed down different issues and different emotions and they turn into rocks. And if our emotions as well are like water, all of a sudden we get flooded. And that's part of the reason that people use flooded for when we get overwhelmed. And so we need to clear the rocks, and we don't clear the rocks by shoving them deeper. We clear them by taking a look at them, examining them. And that's how we use RIM. We use our imagination to take a look at what might be in our way. I haven't seen rocks yet, but maybe now that I use this metaphor in my next session, I'll find a bunch of rocks piling up.
Have you
So
ever
yeah,
have you ever used this kind of like the opposite? Instead of like sort of what's in your way, have you ever gone hunting for what are the internal resources and strengths and wisdom that I have that I'm not aware of, that I'm
oh
not
yeah,
channeling or
absolutely.
recognizing?
Yeah, yeah, thank you, Lori, for bringing that up. When Brian and I were talking about this event a couple months ago, my mind was about what am I doing to get in my own way and also in the environment what's in my way. And yeah, that would be a really appreciative inquiry kind of way to reframe it all and focus on what's working really well. Yeah, so for sure. Actually, challenge is accepted. The next group room I do is gonna be that kind of a flavor about internal resourcing.
Yeah, it might be you could do because everybody loves working on the things that are in their way. That's sort of sexy and grabs people. But it could
Yeah.
be that you could ask people you know, what's it's like the sword and the stone, or what's the secret tool? If you wanted
Yeah.
to keep it somatic, like what's the tool? And of course, for a lot of us, it'd be markers. But what's the tool that that you have that can help you on this journey of overcoming this thing that's in your way? That'd be pretty
Yeah,
cool.
absolutely. Yeah, if we were to spend more time on a group rim, often then the thing you do dialogues even more. And in individual sessions, we often find internal resources, and so we get to that in the individual sessions as well. So yeah, and our imagination goes wherever it's meant to go, and so some people might see something that's in the way, and it might turn into something that's actually helpful to help them move. Elizabeth said I wasn't getting the most hopeful images, and it looks like that might have been true for some others as well. Yeah, so one of the underpinnings of RIM, though, is that we don't try to only go for the positive, um, because we have a range of emotions, and oftentimes we extrovert more of the positive emotions, and it's the negative ones that tend to get in our way. So, to the extent that we can partner with the positives, that's great. And things that get in our way generally aren't the positive things. And so RIM helps us unpack some of those things that might not be serving us. Yeah. So, Brian, we're at an hour and 32 minutes.
Gráinne, this was awesome. I really appreciate you coming. Let's do one round of applause for Gráinne. Thank you very much for being here. And with that, any other questions for her before I stop the recording? Okay, Gráinne, again, this was awesome. Can't wait to try this myself.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Nice seeing you. Thanks for coming.